"If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying" has been a common phrase heard in sports for years. In NASCAR, cheating, or being creative as many like to call it, has been a part of the sport since its very beginning. Newly inducted Hall of Famer Dale Earnhardt Jr. has regularly talked on his podcast about cheating, including the lengths his own team would go to skirt the rules during his illustrious career. Interestingly, all last year, the two-time Daytona 500 winner said the next-gen car would be no different. Despite NASCAR's best intentions to level the playing field with a car built from vendor-supplied parts and publicly declaring that there was going to be a culture shift away from teams getting creative, Earnhardt insisted it wouldn't matter. The teams would do whatever they could to find an advantage over the competition. While Earnhardt's opinion was based on the sport's long history and his own personal experience, he was always talking about the previous generation of cars. Over the last few months, Earnhardt has test-driven the new car multiple times at Bowman Gray Stadium, Daytona, and even at the LA Coliseum. He's been in the garage talking with the teams. He knows the mindset. With that new knowledge base and a much better understanding of the car and how it all works, Earnhardt addressed a question about the next-gen car on the Ask Jr. portion of the Dale Jr. download. He reaffirmed everything he had previously described, except this time he offered more detail.
Now, with all of the components, there's all new places and areas for them to get creative in. And when I say creative, I mean cheat. And so I think that it's going to be a very, very difficult task for NASCAR to control all the creativity that these teams are going to try to develop. And, there are honorable men in this sport, but there's nobody in the sport that's going to race by the rule book and strictly stay there. Everybody that's racing in this sport is always looking for an advantage.
While Earnhardt acknowledges teams will continue to try and alter the car and bend the rules in whatever ways they can, he also believes NASCAR will be better suited to identify any alterations because all the parts are the same. He said it will be an easy ball or strike call because there is no gray area. Earnhardt also repeated what he had said multiple times in the past. The first team caught will pay a stiff penalty.
So if a team wants to try to get creative, they're really putting themselves in a very dangerous position because NASCAR can look at these components and know when something's been modified. And when that happens, expect NASCAR to come down heavily, extremely hard, right out of the gate to set a very strong precedence that the teams are not to be fooling with these race cars.
The Daytona 500 is just a week away. Teams are making last-minute changes to their cars, some legal, others not so legal. It's just a matter of time before someone gets caught with their hand in the cookie jar. And when it happens, everyone will then know just how serious NASCAR is about ensuring the integrity of the cars and whether or not there is in fact a radical culture shift, as the organization has insisted would be the case for months.